All right, so in the previous video, we built this kind of communication. We added this simple testing tool that we had a conversation with the AI agent, and we prompted the system prompt to use the tool whenever a customer asks about a weather. And what we did was we basically added a tool description here with the URL for our post method in the webhook, where n8n is listening for that webhook, and we send it these body parameters just like the city name, or I mean, again, it was just for a sample. So in this one, we can actually build a real workflow and a real voice agent for a customer reservation for a restaurant. So this is going to show you a good initial introduction on how to build a voice agent that might be actually for a very practical use, like calling a customer service at a restaurant to book a reservation. So we're going to utilize same thing, the webhook. We're going to have a Google Sheet with different the name, the date for the reservation, and the number of people, right? We're just going to keep it very simple, and the time as well, of course. So let's go ahead and start fresh. So now what I'm going to do is maximize this for now, because we're going to come back to use the n8n later. But I want to go ahead and start fresh. All right, so now here, same thing. Once you come on your agents, you're going to click on either this plus button right here, or we're going to click on create an agent. So we're going to name this agent now. We're going to name this, let's see, because again, we're going to be building this kind of like a customer support for a restaurant. Let's say Joe's Diner, for example. So we're just going to say customer reservation agent Joe's Diner. Okay. Again, you can name it whatever you want, but I'm going to click on support agent here, click on create agent. So now this is going to create that agent for you. And once it's done, on the left hand side, as you can see, this is created, and you have this, obviously, this agent ID. Again, we'll explore what that is later on, but for now, just leave it as it is. The first message, let's go ahead and change this from Eric to, let's say, Jackie. Okay, we're going to leave that one as it is. How can I help you? We'll fine. Let's go ahead and change the system prompt. So I'm going to go ahead and paste the system prompt that I typed earlier. So I said, you're a support agent named Jackie. You're very friendly and enthusiastic and really want to help the customer get the help they need. Answer to 3 to 7 sentences in most cases. You work at a restaurant called Joe's Diner. So we just changed, I just added that you work at a restaurant called Joe's Diner, and I changed the name to Jackie, of course. All right, so LLM, we can actually choose GPT-4 for mini for now. So right now it says that the cost will be passed on to you later on. Right now, because I think it's going through the beta phase, it's right now 11 Labs is covering the LLM cost. So in the future, this is going to be passed to us, of course, to someone who's building it. So let's go ahead and choose GPT-4, GPT-4o. And then we're going to use, actually, you know what? I'm going to choose Claude 3.5, because Claude is, I think it's a lot better when it comes to voice agents. And I'll explain that later on when we build more complicated ones. Why? Because we'll test different ones. Okay, so we'll leave that as it is. The temperature, leave it as it is. Limit token, leave it as it is for now. Now let's go ahead and add a knowledge base about this Joe's Diner restaurant, right? So I created a sample FAQ for Joe's Diner. Let me go ahead and actually just do that quickly. Let me pull this up so you see what it is. So this is just like a sample Joe's Diner FAQ that I used that ChatGPT to generate. So it just has some information about what kind of cuisines do you have, the dressing, the outdoor seating, what are your typical wait times, you know, do you accept reservations, walk-ins, can I make a reservation, do you require a deposit, and then just a few different information about like kind of the dress code, for example, right? And do you offer happy hours? So just random information. All right, so let's go ahead and attach this. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this and bring it over here. Same thing, you just drag and drop. And then we'll also give this a menu item. So if you have a website for obviously this is just a demo restaurant, but if you have a website, you can put the URL. And here I'm going to go ahead and give this the menu items, right? So I'm going to go ahead and create a text menu using ChatGPT, and then just dump it in there. So let me go ahead and create that, and I'm going to paste it here. All right, so I pasted this sample Joe's Diner menu, grilled favorites, filet steak, ribeye steak. I put the prices here too, just for sample, so that way we can ask it and the agent to make sure it's retrieving the proper. So we're going to ask it the T-bone steak, and how much it is, it should respond accordingly. So just sample items, right? But we need to make sure we name this. So I'm just going to say menu items and prices, let's say. Okay. I'm going to click on add item. So now we have a knowledge base of menu items and prices. Oh, it looks like I didn't add the file. So let's add the file too. So if I go back, just click on add item. I didn't think I saved it earlier. Yep, that's what I did. So just drag. So now click on add item. There you go. Now you have Joe's Diner FAQ and then the menu items and the prices, right? Okay. So now let's go ahead and jump on the tool section, because this is where we'll create that webhook here. So I'm going to click on webhook. So we're going to name this reservations, right? Because for restaurant reservations. And then for description, I'm going to say use this tool to make a reservation for Joe's Diner, let's say. Okay. As I said, if you make sure you watch the previous videos, because I go in detail and explain what these different configurations are, what the description does, but quickly, this description basically tells the LLM or this agent when to use this particular tool. But again, make sure you watch the previous videos to make sense of all of this. So method, we're going to be post, obviously. The URL, like we mentioned in the previous videos, we're going to go ahead and copy our webhook URL. So let me actually, that's not the one. That's a more complicated one. We'll build that later on. So we're building this testing. I just deleted that. Now I'm going to change this to Joe's Diner voice agent. Okay. So what we need to do, again, as I mentioned on the previous videos, we're going to add a webhook here as a trigger. So this is going to be a webhook. I'm going to keep this as test URL, and I suggest you do the same thing because you want to be able to see exactly what steps are being processed. So we're going to change the HTTP method to post. We're going to change the pass to reservations this time. Reservation. Authentication, keep it as none. Respond, this is very important. Make sure you're selecting this use respond to webhook node, right? So now we're done. Now we're just going to go ahead and copy this URL here. So I'm just going to click here, copy. Let's go ahead and save this. We're going to go out here and paste. All right, perfect. So double check, make sure that this is correct. So now that's done. Let's go ahead now add our parameters. But before we do that, actually, I'm going to go ahead and create a Google Sheets here because we need to be able to retrieve the information that's coming in from 11 Labs to this webhook. We need to add this to a Google Sheet. So let's go ahead and create a Google Sheet. So I'm going to head over to my Google Sheets quickly. So I'm going to create a blank worksheet. So we're going to name this reservations. Actually, you know what? Let me do reservation. It's the name of the sheet. We need to have the name, right? The date of the reservation, the time, and then the party size, right? So this is going to be the number of people that's going to be, actually, you know what? I'm just going to say number of people. There you go. Okay. Let's make this a little bigger. So that way, oops. Okay, that's good. Boom. Make this a little bigger. So that way we know this is, there you go. Actually, boom. All right, so that's good enough. Anyways, so now let's go ahead and make sure we, let me pull this up a little more. Make sure we attach this to our n8n. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a Google Sheets now. Click on plus sign, search for Google Sheets. All right, so we're gonna append a row, right there. Make sure you have your Google Sheets account attached to the credentials. Resource sheet within the document, append row, correct, from list. So if we did this right, if you connected it properly, it should load up all the sheets that are there. There you go, reservations there. The sheet's gonna be the sheet 1. All right, so now we're gonna map column mode manually, and there you go. These are the columns that are within our Google Sheet, which is correct. All right, so let's leave that as it is. So now we're going to go back And now let's go ahead and add our parameters. So we can actually add body parameters because that's what we're sending. We're going to click on enable. So here's where we need to describe what the voice agent is going to ask whenever the customer says, I'm ready to reserve, right? So ready to reserve a table or reservation. So here we need to ask it in a friendly way, oops, ask the customer to provide their name, date of reservation, time of reservation, and the number of people. All right, so now we need to actually, when we gave it the description, now we need to identify these parameters as a property, and we need to send this to our n8n webhook, right? So we need to add property. Once you click on adding the property, so now we need to go one by one. So we're gonna say name. This is gonna be name of the customer, right? We're gonna do date, right? So we're gonna do, and that name is gonna be string, obviously. Date is gonna be the string as well. Date of the reservation. We're gonna do time. Time of the reservation. And then we're gonna do the number of people. So we're just gonna do number, and we're gonna keep this as number, change this to number, the data type. So we're gonna do number of people for the reservation, right? Perfect. So now we're good to go here. Okay, so now we're done with adding the parameters. We're good to go. I'm gonna click on add to, click on save. And if you did everything right, hopefully this will save without giving you an error. If you missed any of the parameters, this will actually give you an error. Make sure you read the error. It will tell you exactly what to do. All right. So we got the knowledge base, we got the reservation, and we got the system prompt, and then same thing on the first message. So now let's go ahead and make sure that we test this, that it's being sent, and then we will configure our webhook to add that, that information in there. So let me go ahead and great. So now let me zoom in to make sure that this is good to go. All right, perfect. So now let's go ahead and test this thing out and make sure that it is working properly. So if everything is correct, we should be able to get this information with the name, the reservation, number of people, and then also the date and time. But let's go ahead and first test this agent out to make sure that it's actually retrieving the information from this knowledge base that we talked about. And let's go ahead and make sure we also tell it if a customer is asking any information about the restaurant, the diner, let's say, make sure to use your knowledge base. Make sure to retrieve information from your knowledge base only when the customer is ready to reserve, to make a reservation. Use the, what was the tool that we gave it? The reservation tool. Use the reservation tool. All right, great. Let's make sure this is spelled correctly. You can play around with the prompt depending on what your use case is. This is just sample. Again, as you build this thing out, first thing is just create a simple prompt, test it out, make sure you're receiving data back and forth, and then you can play around with updating the prompt for more complex reasoning. All right, so we're good to go here. Let's go ahead and save this. Actually, instead of, let's see, when the customer is ready to make a reservation. All right, yeah, that's good. We gave it everything. Click on save. All right, good. So now we're gonna click on test workflow here. We're gonna actually, before I do it, let me just go ahead and make sure that it's accessing the knowledge base here. So let me pull up that the menu items and the FAQ here. Alright, so now let's go ahead and test this thing out. I'm going to test AI agent, call agent.
Hi, I'm Jackie. How can I help you today?
Whoops, I forgot actually to add a different voice to this because this is still Bill's voice. So let's go ahead and head over to the voice tab, and we're going to now change this to girl's voice. So if we come down here, there's a bunch. Let's see, Alice.
Just trust yourself, then you will know how.
Okay, that's not a good one. Social media. Let's take a look at Laura.
Our distrust is.
Or Jessica.
If you spend your whole life waiting. Our distrust is very expensive.
Actually, this is conversational. This is good. So let's select Jessica. There you go. Save. Okay, now let's test this out.
Hi, I'm Jackie. How can I help you today?
Hi Jackie, how you doing?
Hi there. I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for asking. It's always a great day here at Joe's Diner. How about you? Is
Good.
there anything I can help you with today? Whether you're looking for information about our menu, want to make a reservation, or just have some questions about Joe's Diner, I'm here to assist you with a smile.
Okay. Yeah, I had a quick question actually before I reserve a table. I just wanted to know, do you have outdoor seatings?
Absolutely. I'm thrilled you asked about that. Yes, we do have outdoor seating at Joe's Diner. We have a cozy outdoor patio that's perfect for enjoying your meal in the fresh air. It's a great spot to soak up some sunshine while savoring our delicious comfort food. Many of our customers love dining outside.
Okay, sounds good. Actually, I wanted to see if I could make a reservation.
Of course, I can help you with that. Could you please provide me with the number of people for the reservation, the date, the time, and your name?
Sure, yeah. My name is John Doe. The date is going to be December 19th, and the time is going to be at 1 p.m.
Thank you, John. How many people will be in your party for the reservation?
There's going to be 4 people.
It seems there was an issue with processing your reservation. I apologize.
Okay, so the reason why we ran into issues is because now we need to take this data that's coming in, right, and we need to send it to the Google Sheet. But what we did is I forgot to add the respond to webhook, so that's why it's doing that. So let's go ahead and do that. That's the first step, because otherwise it's going to give you an error because we said respond using respond to webhook node. So let's go ahead and attach that. So I'm going to do this and click on webhook again, search for webhook. And this time you're going to select this respond to webhook, because again, this is how it's going to send data back to our voice agent here, right? And then we can also define this because we need to respond back and identify what the response is going to be. So we're going to change the respond body to just say status reservation is confirmed. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to leave it as this. All right, now it's good. So now we should be able to interact back, and just this time, instead of going through that whole knowledge base check, I'm just going to actually just ask for the price of a steak, let's say. I think the T-bone steak, when we saw earlier, let me just double check. T-bone steak was $40. So let's go ahead and ask that price, and then we're going to say just let's go ahead and jump into the reservation. Okay, I'm going to click on test workflow. So now this is ready. Test AI agent.
Hi, I'm Jackie. How can I help you today?
Hey Jackie, I just wanted to know what the price of a T-bone steak is at Joe's Diner.
The price of a T-bone steak at Joe's Diner is $40. If you have any other questions about the menu or anything else, feel free to ask.
That's fine. Let's go ahead and make a reservation.
Sure, I can help you with that. Could you please provide me with the number of people for the reservation, the date, the time, and your name?
Yeah, name is John Doe. I want to make a reservation for tomorrow, December 19th at 1 p.m. And then what else did you need?
I just need to know how many people will be in your party for the reservation. Once I have that, I can finalize it for you.
There's going to be 5 people.
It seems there was an issue with processing your reservation.
Okay, perfect. So this actually worked. So now let's go ahead and, because I wanted to make sure we're receiving data to webhook. So now that we have, we can go ahead and map it out to here, right? So let's click on the Google Sheets here. So now we have data coming in from this side. So let's go ahead and actually map that out. So if we come back here, there you go, perfect, right? We're receiving that body parameter right here. We're receiving the exact information we're looking for, right? So we're going to do name is going to be name. Date is going to be the date from here. Time is going to be the time. And then the number of people we're going to grab right here. Whoops. All right, perfect. So now this should be good to go, right? It's because we got everything. If we test the step, we want to make sure this goes through. Perfect. Nice. Okay. There you go. Now we're good to go. All right, great. So now let's go ahead and also open the Google Sheets here, because I want to make sure that we can see that that went through. Reservation. Perfect, right? John Doe. Yep, that's good to go. So now we should be able to append the row here. Okay, so if we go back, this time I'm going to delete this and then test the workflow. And this time I'm just going to reserve the table.
Hi, I'm Jackie. How can I help you today?
Hey, Jackie, I want to make a reservation for tomorrow.
I'd be happy to help you with that. Could you please let me know how many people will be in your party, what time you'd like the reservation, and the name for the reservation?
Yeah, so name is going to be Jack Smith. For the date, it's going to be tomorrow, December 19th. And then the number of people is going to be 5. And then that's it.
Great. What time would you like the reservation for tomorrow?
I would like it at 2 p.m.
Your reservation for 5 people under the name Jack Smith at 2 p.m. tomorrow, December 19th is confirmed. If you have any other questions or need further assistance, feel free to ask.
All right.
Enjoy your meal at Joe's Diner.
Thank you, Jackie.
You're very welcome, Jack. If you need it.
Okay, perfect. There you go, right? So we got everything set up. It went through, automated the process, added it to the Google Sheet, and confirmed the reservation. We sent the response back to the webhook saying that the reservation has been confirmed, and that's exactly what it did, right? So now you see that it retrieved that information directly from the conversation and added it to our n8n instance, right? So hopefully that made sense. So on the next one, what we're going to do is same thing, add to this tool, but this time instead of directly grabbing the information from the body parameter, we can actually add an AI agent so that way it can interact with that. And then after that, we'll be able to build even more complicated stuff. All right, so I'll see you on the next one.